Welcome to another episode of In the Nude. Today I want to talk about the spirit within. We're not broken, though we feel it. Shattered pieces, or at least I did. I felt like I was shattered to a point of not being able to piece back together. That's not actually the case. When we go through traumatic events, I feel like they break us. I feel like they shatter us, tear us apart. What we end up doing most of the time is actively just going into hiding. Have you ever noticed, like, when you start getting really dysregulated, you start feeling like anxious and picky, and that you start trying to escape reality, whether it's reading a book, eating something, manically kidding, going into perfectionism, watching something, going about trying to get into other people's business or caretaking, or like something to pull yourself out of what you're feeling, distract yourself from where you are. Maybe you don't. Maybe you have a gift that you can just sit with yourself. But for me, that is how I cope. Any type of leaving this environment. And I will even be aware of myself doing it and not wanting to do it, and still there is fighting. Why? The spirit within you is really strong. It's trying to survive at all points. And it'll do anything to help you. And sometimes those things that it's trying to do to help you, they were helpful. They helped you survive till now, but they're not always helpful with what you're trying to do now. That spirit within is trying to escape, it's trying to hide, it's trying to make you safe. And sometimes that escape, that running away, that it self-abdicates. If you've ever changed your perspective on something, or you adjusted what you were going to say because the people around you, you could tell that they were angry, and you're trying to mitigate their feelings, it's another form. Your spirit within is extremely strong and brilliant, intuitive, amazing. But sometimes in that amazing, the decision and the thought process for survival is so deeply ingrained because of all that you've gone through and all it knows, that sometimes it makes the default choice to abdicate you, to leave you. And it's not wanting to, it's not trying, it's literally doing all of those things to help you. I have found there's a whole scientific method called family systems, where you, like, your brain breaks itself up into little different parts. And whether you believe in how that handles it or not, I'm sure that you felt certain time frames where you go from being calm to being exorbitantly angry really quickly. And that in family systems would call it your protector, right? When you get angry out of nowhere, it's your part of you not wanting to deal with something. And instead of being hurt or scared at it, because that makes you frozen usually, anger makes you take action, right? There's lots of different functions and parts, but imagine that inside of you, there are certain parts of yourself that kind of get stuck, kind of get like a snapshot. Like, imagine parts in your brain are like little tiny videos of life moments in your past, right? Like a little video of you at, 6 years old being yelled at somebody where you were scared. And that part of you, there's like this small nugget, this small spirit that like didn't process those feelings and didn't handle those things and is stuck in that perpetual moment in your head. And I have found that when I find myself abutting these frustrating moments, it's part of my internal spirit that I have to like be willing to sit with. And that's super uncomfortable for me. I don't know if it's super uncomfortable, like super uncomfortable. Like, the last thing I want to do is sit down. Every part of my body wants to run away. Every part of my body wants to escape and gets angry at that part of myself that's even wanting, like, it's so much internal battle. Like, okay? But when I find myself hitting that wall of frustration at myself, but also wanting to escape and not wanting to exist or doing anything that will distract myself from what's going on, but also this like chaotic feeling of like slightly nauseated for me, like clinchy, finger picking, like extremely dysregulated. I know, like brain-wise, I know that like coming back to the present moment will help. I know that centering myself, deep breaths, grounding, like walking outside barefoot, like anything that just like pulls me back into this moment in this body will help me not be all up in my head in those feelings. But at the same time, in that moment, it's the last thing that I want to do. It's kind of like when you're depressed and you don't want to get out of bed, and everybody's like, oh, if you worked out, it would help. And you're like, yeah, no, I get that. I can't. Like, and somebody who hasn't been extremely depressed doesn't necessarily get that. But like, if you've been extremely depressed, you know what it's like to sit there and you're like, I don't want to be depressed, but I have nothing but to be depressed, right? You can get in those cycles with this. Something that I found is when you're in those cycles, there's a part of your internal spirit. There's a part of you that's that videotape stuck in this moment of this hurt. And one of the best ways, if you have the space and you have the capability, because if you don't, you don't. And no amount of shaming is going to help that. No amount of guilting and anger is going to help that. We have been angry. We have been perfectionists. We have been go after it. We have been denigration and internal critic. We've done it, and it doesn't work. Okay. So if you are in a place where you can't do this, self-hating is only going to make you feel more stuck. Okay. Give yourself space, give yourself grace, give yourself compassion, because it is in compassion, it is in that self-grace that literally life moves. Where thrives is compassion. Where you want movement and change is compassion, it's grace. So if you don't have the space for that, save this and try it again later when you might have the space. But today, for me, I have been struggling so much with feeling like so many different, like, denigrating cocktail of tornado feelings, and all of it, every part of my person wants to like just run away, run to sleep, run to a book, run to cleaning the house, run to anything. But I am physically not capable right now. I have autoimmune disease, hilarious science with autoimmune disease. That's probably for a different episode, so we'll just skim over it. But like, if you tend to self-abdicate, it's been linked to a higher increase in autoimmune disease. Anyway, today is a bad day for my body. My body is attacking itself, and my brain is attacking myself. They usually coincide. There's a part of my spirit that is trapped in that videotape moment. And I don't need to know what that videotape moment is. I don't have to like break it all down. I don't have to go intellectualize and try to but something I have found that helps is feeling that part, right? Like, it's like when you walk into a room and you sense people's feelings, right? Because you can sense people's feelings. Like, you can tell when somebody's like anger, I visualize red, right? Or when somebody's like to the point where they're like past anger and they're like just like a black hole, so they're like moving from like blood red to black, right? Or if somebody's like kind of agitated and you like see a vibration, okay, wait, you get what I'm talking about, where you feel it when you walk into a room and you can sense like, oh, over there is that. Inside yourself, you can do that same thing. So for me, in this moment, this internal self, this spirit within that is strong and unbroken, but trapped within this moment, is I sat with myself and I asked myself, hey, why are you feeling this way? Because sitting with me, as uncomfortable as it is, and having a conversation with myself is the quickest path I have found to moving out of that feeling and be able to cope differently and learn to trust myself, right? So in this particular circumstance, I sat with myself and I was like, you're feeling a lot. And even in communicating to myself, I see that part of me like retracting, pulling back out of fear. Fear of getting lashed out at, fear of the environment around there, fear of the instability and safety that part of me that was stuck lived in. If we just are perfect enough, if we just get it right next time, if we just do more, if we just. And it's hard. It's hard to sit with yourself. It's hard to go back to those feelings. It's hard to be with yourself. But it is with allowing that part of yourself that feels frozen and stuck. I love to self-abandon. Not because I actually want to self-abandon, but because it's not comfy to sit with that part of myself. It's not comfy to sit with any of those parts of myself. I want to distract. I want to, just be happy. I want to enjoy something else. But sitting with the dysregulation, sitting with the discomfort and lack of safety, sitting with myself in that part of my spirit that feels caged and trapped and isolated, it's hard. It's uncomfy. I can only do it in doses. But I sit there and I literally have, for me, I just literally have like a volley conversation between the different parts in my head, which may sound insane to you, but maybe it doesn't. But that's what I do. I sat with myself and I was like, why? And they explained how they feel and their fears. And instead of trying to explain it away to them, because imagine you had a bad day, right? And you're telling somebody about your bad day. You don't need someone to sit there and try to solve it. You just need somebody to be like, yeah, I get that. So I started there. With, yeah, I get why you felt like those things were things to try. I get why it was scary. And you thought, maybe if I just am perfect, it won't happen. Maybe if I just do more. Maybe if I just fix something, maybe if I just change me, that's a fair. And then I asked them a question. How old do you think I am? Because these different parts, they get stuck. This little videotape, like a family reel, but not in the way you want to watch. And this part, they thought I was 12. I don't need to know. I don't need to go back. I don't need to delve into the exact things. But that part of me thought I was 12. So then I sit and I say, hey, I'm not 12. I'm 38. 39? I don't know. I'm somewhere in there. I think I said 39. Whatever it is. I'm a grown-ass adult. Let's look back over the last couple of years. Let's look back at our life. And I'm showing them glimpses of how I raise my kids, of our life, of the fact that I have made a safe place for myself, where I do small things to take care of myself and create an environment that I like to be in. Redo a dresser in a way that I like, buy a bed that isn't necessary, but it's one that I like. Tiny ways. Some bigger, some smaller, but I'm showing them glimpses of my life, and they stop and they say, you don't do this to your kids? No. We don't do this to our kids. We don't do this. We show up differently. We love them where they are. We help them feel like they're not too much. And I'm here to help you too. And that 12-year-old part of myself sat there and started feeling guilty for me having to take on that load. And I did the same thing I would do for my kids. It is not your responsibility for what I have taken on. You get to just be a kid. And it's hard. It's hard as an adult. Being both healing yourself, reparenting yourself, and parenting your kids. Sometimes there can be a lot of denigration with that. But that part of myself is still just stuck in that 12-year-old self, and it doesn't need that guilt. I'm not broken. You're not broken. Our spirits are strong and amazing and trying to survive. We just need to redirect their actions and their energy to a way that's more beneficial to where our life is now. That part of myself, when they get comfortable with the fact that I can't protect them and they start feeling trust with me and being able to provide that, I can ask them, I can then redirect them into doing something else that's more productive, and not productive in the sense of like it has to be doing something that society sees as productive, but I mean something productive within ourselves. Maybe that part of myself can learn how to play again. That's productive. Maybe that part of myself all of a sudden gets really fascinated with like rocks and polishing and tumbling rocks. Who knows, right? But it's something for enjoyment. It's something that betters our existence, our life. But it can't happen if I don't take the time to sit with that uncomfortable part. If I don't take the time to help show them, hey, guess what? You don't have to be stuck in this one scene, this one little video of your life. You're released. That little moment doesn't have to define and cage you. We don't have to be stuck there. That inner spirit you have, you're not broken. You are so incredibly strong. You just have a lot of these snapshots that you didn't ask for, that you get to sit with. You get to give yourself the space and grace and patience and love you were not given before. And that's hard. And it's ugly and it's uncomfortable. But it's so beautiful too. You get to do that for yourself. Your worth is innate. It's not based on how other people treated you. It's not based on how productive you are. It's not based on what you do. You are, and therefore you're worthy. And this is a way you can prove that to yourself. And you may be rejecting of it. I was very rejecting of it. I didn't like that idea because it just was so foreign. It felt wrong. And I couldn't even want it for myself to be worthy without having productivity. It just was so integrated, like wrapped like thorny vines around my person, pulling myself to the ground. And yet somehow I still wanted those vines. They felt known, they felt safe, they felt like something I could quantify because I knew how to work hard. I knew how to try for perfection. I knew how to never have somebody else's help. I knew how to do. And releasing that, letting go of that. Control, that grasping. That felt scary. The doing, I knew how to do that, but the being and accepting, no thank you. No thank you. But it is in that process of me trying to learn how to be and trying to accept myself and accept the truth of I'm worthy because I am, that I found more patience, more peace, more thrive, more joy, more ability to show up in this world and enjoy my world and help my kids enjoy this world. More contentment, more love, more. And I want to challenge you that if you feel rejecting of the idea that you're worthy just because you are, that just because it's something that's foreign doesn't mean you can't make it truth. You've lived with this person inside of your head taking you down, tearing you apart, making fun of when you mess up, judging you even before you even get started. Oh, look at that outfit. Oh, what happens with this? Right? You've lived with that. You know how that looks. You know how that feels. And it hasn't helped you really, right? That part of you is trying to protect you from other people's opinions because you did have that existing. It's somebody else's voice parroting in your head, and I get it. But it actively hasn't actually helped you. It kind of makes you miserable. And you get angry at that part of yourself. If you can come into the world and have this perspective that you aren't worthwhile or that you have to be perfect or that whatever, and you've seen that it doesn't help you, and you've believed that lie that you could be perfect, right? You know that no one's perfect, but you still believe in your head that you should be perfect. Even if you don't vocalize it completely to your, we can be honest with each other, right? You try, you vie for that perfection you know is impossible, and then self-denigrate when you can't be the perfect you know that okay? If we can live in that misconception and act like it's truth, why not this one? Why not? This one could make your life and improve your life drastically. You could shift your belief that I don't have to do to be worthy. I have to be. I exist. I am breathing. I am. You are. What if you suspended disbelief? I just started mentally choosing that to be true. Mentally making choices when you can and have space and all of that to be able to, that's true. When you are tired, giving yourself the space for rest without attacking yourself for not doing something. And then when you start to attack yourself, not attacking yourself for attacking yourself, right? Get the cycle. Giving yourself that compassion, giving yourself that grace because you are. What if you just test cased it? We've tried the perfection, we've tried the self-hate, we tried, okay. We get to choose our truth. Two people can go through the exact same situation, if you described it, right? Two people can go through that, and one of them can find it extremely traumatizing and another person can find it not traumatizing. Why? Their interpretation of the action, their truth in interpretation of what that person's actions mean about them, their perspective is what makes the difference. So why don't we choose a perspective that serves us better? You're worth that.